Latest on the investigation into the murder of rapper Lionel Pickens, known as Chinx.
Okay, police checking surveillance cameras in the area for clues, but as Lisa Evers tells us, now they have a few solid leads. She's near the shooting scene in Queens. Lisa.
Well, Steve, many people assume that closing this case would be a slam dunk because of the high visibility location. But today, the NYPD's top detective says they have a ways to go before making an arrest. And we're going to show you some exclusive video, a clip from surveillance video that was turned over to police. The memorial to 31-year-old father of three, Lionel Pickens, known professionally as the rapper Chinx, gets bigger with every passing day. So do the questions about who shot and killed him in his Porsche early Sunday morning. NYPD Chief of Detectives Robert Boyce says they have no eyewitnesses and no video of the actual incident just yet.
I do not have an eyeball witness right now to that scene, so we're trying to get the cars that were involved as we go forward. A lot of video download is going on right now out in that section of Queens on Main Street. Saturday
night, Chinx hosted a party at Club Red Wolf in Brooklyn. Police and his family say he went to a hookah bar afterwards in Queens. It was closed. You can see his Porsche leaving there in this exclusive clip from surveillance video. Then he and his 27-year-old passenger were shot when they went to drop off a third person at 84th and Queens Boulevard, right at Main Street.
We're getting a lot of information from the hip-hop community, from social media sites, any conflicts this individual may have had.
Investigators believe there was one gunman and are not yet sure about the getaway vehicle. But one thing is clear, with highways nearby, it was an easy escape.
We did recover 12 shell casings from the crime scene, all fired from the same gun. So we have one shooter.
What's good, y'all? What's the Numbers TV? It's your boy, Paul Rowe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And like a video if you appreciate the content that Paul Rowe and What's the Numbers I provided. Today we back with a profile piece. This one is on Chinx drugs. In this video we're going to take a look at his early years growing up in Queens, New York. Then we will speak about Chinx involvement with the legendary Rockaway Riot Squad alongside Stack Bundles, Bino, and Call 2 Gs. After that, we will focus on Chinx's time spent in prison, where a lot would change for him before coming home and becoming a member of French Montana's Coke Boys. And lastly, we will highlight Chinx's solo career that was starting to take off before looking at the details surrounding the shooting that would end up taking his life. Lionel Pickens, better known as Chinx drugs, is from the Edgemere Projects in Far Rockaway, Queens. Growing up there was rough, and Chinx would catch a few charges as a youth and spend some time in DFY. Once released, he would relocate to Amityville, Long Island, before returning back to Far Rockaway a few years later. By then, Chinx was already messing around with the music and was in the early stages of becoming a rapper. Next, he would link up with some other Far Rockaway rappers like Stack Bundles, Bino, and Call 2 Gs. Together the group would form the Rockaway Riot Squad around 2003. They would hit the mixtape and DVD scene hard as they began working on creating a buzz for themselves. Stack Bundles would be the early standout of the group for his aggressive flow and witty punchlines. After releasing some music as a group and seeing the notoriety start to rise in New York City, Chinx will end up catching a new case in early 2005 and was sentenced to nearly 5 years in state prison. During this time, Stack Bundles would go on to work with DJ Clue and then Jim Jones's Bird Gang. Stack would keep Chinx's name alive by shouting him out in songs and interviews with the slogan "Free Drugs." Chinx couldn't wait to finish serving his time so he could rejoin Stack and Bino, who by this time were benefiting off Stack's buzz and making major moves in the industry. Stack was riding high off the success of Ballin', which was Jim Jones' biggest hit. It was rumored that Stack contributed some bars or the hook on that track. So with everybody checking for Stack, it looked like a major deal was on the way, and Chinx would come home and be put right in position to continue pursuing his music career. But sadly, in June of 2007, Stack would be killed in the lobby of his building after returning to the projects after a night of partying in New York City. And just like that, Chinx lost a childhood friend and a lot of the connections he had in the industry. In late 2008, Chinx would be released from prison and linked right back up with Rockaway Riot Squad member and childhood friend Bino. But now, Bino was getting ready to turn himself in to do some jail time, and it was starting to feel like as a collective, they could never catch a break. Chinx, who knew former Bird Gang rapper Max B through Stack, would end up linking back up with Max, hoping to create some music and building his buzz up some more, as Max was the hottest thing in the streets at the time. But unfortunately, once again, things just wouldn't go right, as now Max B, who was out on bail for a murder charge, will end up losing trial and be sentenced to 75 years in prison. At that point, Chinx was basically all alone in the music game with just him and his immediate circle to grind. He wouldn't give up though. Instead, he dropped his Hurry Up and Die mixtape series, started shooting some videos, along with getting interviews with different media outlets online. From there, his relationship with French Montana would start to grow. They had met while both were around Max B, and when Max went to jail, they just stood in contact with plans of working on music together in the future. And that's exactly what they did when in 2011, French and Chinx along with some other rappers started the Coke Boys. From that point, the mixtapes started coming out back to back, and by the time Coke Boys 3 came out, the streets were ready for another Chinx Drug solo mixtape. Chinx, feeling his buzz getting bigger and bigger, would release Cocaine Riot 2 in July 2012, which featured the song I'm a Coke Boy on it. The song would blow up locally and start to spread. Chinx finally had himself a club banger that he could hit the road and perform night after night. From there, it was just more promotion, more shows, and more mixtapes to widen his fan base and continue on the journey to take his career to the next level, all with the hopes of eventually dropping a major label-backed debut album. In February 2014, Chinx dropped a video for Feelings. The song was becoming one of his biggest records, and once the visual came out for the record, it really took it to the next level. After a few more mixtapes, Chinx finally had that energy and mainstream buzz behind him to announce that he would finally be dropping his debut album titled Welcome to JFK in June of 2015. The album would come out and get met with good reviews, but sadly, Chinx wasn't even here to receive them, because on the morning of May 17th, just about 2 weeks before his album was set to drop, Chinx would be shot and killed while he drove him and a friend down Queens Boulevard in his Porsche Panamera. Once again, just like his Fall Rockaway rhyme partner before him, Stack Bundles, Chinx would be gunned down in Queens right when it looked like he was destined for bigger things in the music industry. For the first couple of years, the case was quiet, with not too much information coming out. Then in December of 2017, 2 men were arrested for Chinx murder, and finally, some light was shined on the reason behind the slaying. The 2 men arrested were Quincy Hombre and Jamar Hill, both from Long Island, and according to detectives, Quincy, who allegedly was a shooter, had a grudge with Chinx dating back to 2009 when they fought each other on Rikers Island. The two wouldn't see each other till years later at a French Montana and Chinx drug show in Philadelphia. There, Chinx and Quincy were involved in another altercation, this time verbal, which ended in Quincy being blacklisted from the event. That's when Quincy, still upset about the fight on Rikers and now the argument at the concert, allegedly decided to seek out some revenge on Chinx. Less than 1 month later, Quincy and his friend Jamar Hill learned that Chinx would be performing at the Red Wolf Lounge in Brooklyn, thanks to a flyer that Chinx shared to his Instagram account to promote the event. The two followed Chinx after the show to a hookah bar and continued to tail him as he drove down Queens Boulevard. When Chinx pulled up to a red light at 84 Drive around 4 a.m., Quincy allegedly fired a 9mm handgun into the rapper's Porsche, striking and killing him, and wounding his friend, Coke Boy affiliate, Yemen Cheese. After the arrest, there weren't no new developments in the case until July 2018, when there were reports that both suspects were in talks of taking a plea deal in the murder of rapper Chinx Drugs. After that, once again, the case went quiet, although both suspects were in jail serving time on unrelated charges. Then, in March of 2024, news articles would come out reporting that Quincy Hombre, the alleged triggerman in the Chinx Drugs murder, was sentenced to 18 years in the feds for armed bank robbery. Now, although Quincy was now in jail with a bunch of years, a lot of Chinx Drugs fans were still wondering, was his family going to get justice and a conviction in his actual murder? And in July 2024, those questions will be answered when it will be reported on Chinx's personal Instagram account that after 9 years, one of the individuals responsible for the murder would plead guilty to a reduced charge of manslaughter with a sentencing date coming up in August of 2024. And after doing a little more research, it looks like the individual that copped out to the manslaughter charge is the alleged shooter Quincy Hombre. So as of right now, we don't know what the current status of the other suspect, Jamar Hill, is. So we just got to wait and see if any update comes on his situation. But yo, it's What's the Numbers TV. This is a quick profile piece on Chinx Drugs, real name Lionel Pickens. As you know, Coke Boys, before the Coke Boys, Rockaway Riot Squad. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his thing, been around for a long time. Chinx was getting better. And actually, Chinx's album was alright. Like the one he dropped, Welcome to JFK, the album was alright. Had some good songs in there. Like if he was allowed to promote it, and you know what I'm saying, go on a promo run and go to different states and radio shows and things like that, probably would have did that. He probably would have had another album and another album, you know what I'm saying? So definitely rest in peace to Chinx. You know what I'm saying? They got the two people that supposedly did that killed Chinx. So we got to see what happens in court if they get found guilty or not guilty, you know what I'm saying? Now, it's sad that him and Stack both got killed. They both were Fall Rockaway. They both started in the group together. They both got killed right before they was blowing up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bino, the one who was actually taking the back seat to make sure that his dudes were shining. Even though some people be like, oh, they was better than Bino. It doesn't matter. Sometimes people be better than people still don't want to take the back seat. You know what I'm saying? He took the back seat twice to both his men, Stack and Chinx, and for it to get cut short before they could really blow up to where they want to blow up to. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bino for just riding with that. That's really riding with somebody through to thicker to the wheels fall off. You understand what I'm saying? He like, I'm riding. It don't matter if we make it, because he didn't make neither one of them that they blow up to where they're supposed to blow up. But he stood by both his dogs, man. So shout out to Bino and rest in peace to Stacks and Chinx. It's What's the Numbers TV. It's your boy Paul Rowe. This is a quick profile piece on Chinx drugs. Go follow the Instagram. And it's What's the Numbers TV. Be back before you know it. We out of here. Peace.